Good evening. Welcome to our Parks and Rec Committee meeting. Today is March 5th, Wednesday. It's 5:30 p.m. If we could get a roll call, please. Ms. Swain.
Mrs. Cooper.
Here.
Mr. Martin.
Here.
Mr. Ghost.
Here.
You're present. We have quorum.
Thank you. We're looking at the minutes from February 5th. I was not at that meeting, but I did watch live and I have read the minutes and I feel comfortable voting. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the minutes from February 5th.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
3 yeas, minutes passed.
Okay. Next is visitors, but if we don't mind, I think we'll just have you come up when we talk about the Easter egg hunt. Is that okay with you? Okay. Next is unfinished business. We don't have anything on the agenda, but I want to bring something up because something that the committee has been talking about, then the mayor brought up in his State of the City speech, which is the donations. And the last we talked about it, we hadn't really heard how that was going to happen. And then in his speech, he was like, there's definitely a way to make it happen. So I thought maybe you could fill us in on how that's going to happen.
Well, there is a way to make it happen. I have talked to our legal counsel, Mr. Bream, about it. What he's indicated to me is that he thinks the donation policy needs to be framed as a sponsorship program. And then he said he would do some additional research on it. So at the moment, he's doing some additional research on just what we would need to do in terms of setting up a fund to accept the sponsorships. We probably need to do internally some kind of a sponsorship. What am I trying to say? Like an offering, like, X amount to fund blank, whatever the case might be. So I feel like that's the thing we need to work on. Like I said, Mr. Bream's working on trying to understand the sponsorship side.
Okay. But we are
Legal-
hopeful
from a
to get
legal
something
perspective.
like this going potentially for J.R. Smith.
Absolutely.
Good.
All right, thank you. Moving on to new business, we have a Johnny Appleseed carving on our agenda and we have some pictures in our packet here that we were looking at, so. This you?
Yeah, so, yep, I'll take this one.
Okay,
As you know, we have been working to preserve the Johnny Appleseed carving for a few years now, and based on the pictures, you can see we're not winning particularly. So what I wanted to do is alert the Parks Committee that our service director has gone out and gotten some pricing from somebody who works with carvings to figure out a way to preserve the upper portion of the carving itself. So we do have a little bit of pricing information on that, but and it's very reasonable. What I wanted to make sure that, at least from the Parks Committee perspective, that we were at least talking about the fact that we would anticipate taking this down this year, removing it, and then the services team will go in and remove the stump. So what I think this committee will have to think a little bit about is where do we place the statue once it's ready to be reset. We've talked a little bit about putting it on a concrete base. There is a proposal to perhaps have it still on a what looks like a stump similar to this, but it's mounted on top of the concrete and there's some space underneath to allow the water to wash away so that it's not eating away at the stump itself. But that's still a little bit in flux at the moment. So one thing we do know is that we need to reach out to the family with respect to, we know that, this was done via a contribution from a family that we've actually honored in previous community recognitions. Have we done the outreach yet at this point, or were we waiting?
I've sent an email just.
Okay.
Oh,
Right. So we've at least sent a written communication to the family. We haven't talked to the family yet about what's happening. Also feel like we definitely need to alert the community as well that once Johnny Appleseed disappears, that it wasn't stolen, that somebody is taking it for, preservation purposes. So I still don't know the timing in terms of when it'll be removed, other than this year, and when it's ready to be replaced. So we'll walk through that. But again, mostly we just wanted to give you a heads up on where we are and answer any questions you've got, or if there are things you think we need to be looking into, we'll do that as well.
So the stump will be removed and then a new base will be there that will involve concrete? Is that
Yep.
what you're saying?
Yep. Now, again, whether we place that in that spot on the square or someplace else in the city is still, I think, a question that we want to have a conversation with the Parks Committee about. But the service team will remove the stump because, again, it's breaking up anyway.
Mhm. What kind of estimates have you gotten so far to redo Johnny?
So it's under $5,000 to basically remove and reset.
That,
Wherever we
that
decide.
includes fixing him up too, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot. He actually is in fairly good shape. It's the base that's not in great shape. But yeah,
Years ago about how neat it would be to have Johnny Appleseed at Old Orchard Park.
oh,
How fitting.
That was resurrected during the bicentennial, so. That was really good.
well, I love that idea
Yeah.
and would be interested in the committee's thoughts on that. So
Okay.
let's think a little bit more about that.
Well,
There's this-
we had that discussion several years ago when it was actually done.
Oh,
We
okay.
thought, man, that would be perfect for Old Orchard Park, but the tree that we needed, it was dying was right there.
Yeah.
But now's a good time.
I was gonna say, well, now may be the time to make that happen.
The sponsoring family didn't, they weren't the ones demanded it be on the square then. There's nobody out there.
No, it was just because that's where the tree
Okay.
was.
It just stayed right there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
When was this done?
The bicentennial committee, we were charged of it and they wanted to do it as a gift to the city or the village.
And they didn't really have a preference where to.
I think Ms. Martin said that it was just, that was the tree and they wanted to do it and
Yeah.
it's great, but you guys just put that sign at the park there.
Doesn't it, does it say on there?
Yeah, you said there's a plaque there.
Well, it sounds like there might be some interest in that, so let's keep talking about
Yeah,
that.
that's a good idea.
2016. Does that sound right?
Mhm.
There you go.
What's the next step? What do we need to do?
Well, I don't think you need to do anything other than, again, just make sure we're okay with the notion that we're going to remove it. I mean, like I said, we've been trying for 3 years to salvage the base and with, a pest control company. A couple of years ago, the service department covered it with this coating to kind of help preserve it as well. But again, it's not working. So,
We haven't had any negative
Drawing
feedback.
moisture from the ground.
Yeah. well, it's also got pests in it as well. So it's not just because it's rotting from the moisture. It has pests in there too.
Right.
And despite several efforts to get rid of them, we have not been able to do that.
What about turnaround time? In other words, from the time it comes down, gets cleaned up and gets reinstalled somewhere. Do you have any idea on turnaround time? Because that's going to be a question that will come up from
Yep.
people
Yep.
during this process.
I don't know, but Alyssa's going to check for me.
Thank you.
And we'll let you know.
Are we aware of any negative feedback from anybody about this?
I mean, I haven't, but yeah,
Okay.
I think this has generally been us trying to find a way to preserve it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next on our new business is a disc golf event. May the 4th be with you. This permit application is in your packet on page 6. This has gone through police, fire, staff, and the events committee. Is there anything specific you want to say about it, Ms. Swain?
This event is put on by the Old and Tangy Disc Golf Club. They've hosted numerous events at Kinslow Park. We've had no incidents with them. The police department's had no issues with them. We did get a call today from the chief requesting a porta john out there, but there's already one out
There's
there.
already one.
So, other than that, we've had no issues. All of the money that they collect for this event goes back into the event for the prizes and the trophies. And they provide food for the contestants. But yeah, we've had no issues with this group, so.
Any comments from the committee?
Now, we had a motion about allowing them to use it at dark and all that. So, yeah, it's,
Is this one at night?
Yeah, this one,
oh, I'm sorry.
this
There
one
was a
concludes at
blow.
6 p.m.
Yeah, there is a blow.
Yeah, there was a blue one.
But no, I think this is a good one. There's a lot of people there that day.
Yeah,
At the Glow one?
Yeah, no, at the May the 4th.
Last year?
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
Do they dress up?
I don't know. I don't think.
In the Star Wars theme.
Harold, do you need a formal, like a approval from us or anything?
No, we've generally worked on consensus. I mean, assuming there are no objections, we continue to proceed. The only time we maybe have tried to get a formal motion is if there's a street closure and we're going to take it to council, that type of thing. But so no, unless, yeah, we're really asking, are there any objections on your part? Anything you want us to make sure the event organizers know before the event? That type of thing.
So are they bringing a portable toilet? Or are we providing one?
We have one out there
We
now.
have one. Do we have
Definitely.
two?
Is one enough?
So there's one at the shelter house and then there's one at the disc golf course.
Okay,
That's year round, isn't it? For
The
both
one
of those.
at, they both are now, yeah.
Thank you. Next up, we have the community Easter egg hunt with the Big Walnut Civic Association, which we have a rep here. So if you wouldn't mind coming up. This event has also been through fire, police, staff, and the events committee meeting, commission. I also reached out specifically to fire and police to make sure that there wasn't any concerns that that I didn't know of, and both chiefs said no concerns. They support the event. They read through the permit and everything. So Mrs. Ernst, if you would just tell us a little bit about the event.
Sure, this is 5 or 6 years I've been in the Civic Association. We inherited from a local realtor and his wife, and we decided to make it a community event where we invited family-friendly organizations to come and be part of it, because a lot of organizations like DFW, Eagles, and other groups, it's just hard to put on Easter egg hunts in this community group. We thought an outreach opportunity to bring people together, to network, to have things. There's not a lot of sponsorship per se. It's just family friendly focused. So it will be on Saturday, the 12th of April. We're excited that the weather the last 3 years has been terrible. So that we're happy we're in credit. And we'll be drinking snow and everybody streets it, but we're not getting permission from the schools to have a rain event inside the facility, so we decided to utilize the next day, if that was okay, to get on the shelter calendar, because we don't want to have to cancel it again, and we don't really want to go into the next weekend because Galena will be having theirs on that Saturday the 19th. So we're hoping if there is rain or the weather is crazy, we would just bump it to Sunday afternoon. And we pushed it back a little bit, from 12 to 3 instead of 11 to 2 to accommodate the dew on the ground. And sports, and there will be food trucks and all kinds of vendors. The new performing arts is going to be there this year, and they're going to do a little pack or two and singing. And so we're really just making a great family event. It's all free. There are food trucks there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do we have the next day, the Sunday? Okay, that's reserved as well, just in case. Amber. Good. Let's see, that's springtime, Sunday.
It's helped with not having a lot of the sport practices at that side field. So I think, other than baseball, we don't necessarily get on the baseball field. There's lots of different, depending on how wet the grass is, these were.
Yeah, because you hide eggs behind the field.
Yeah, the big kids love going down tap. They think that's cool. So,
Yeah, in the woods.
they're big enough to go. So
That's cool.
And the Easter Bunny will be there, and super excited.
Is that you, Dave? Just saying, right?
That day is clear.
Okay. And you don't need any road closures.
No closures, parking, while people walk. Parking, they can park at Kroger, walk. Would like to have cones and some caution tape, that kind of stuff, if that's possible. We get traffic cans and the dumpster usage from the school.
Restrooms will be open.
Typically, somebody from the night shift, the police or whoever goes over and unlocks the bathrooms, typically.
Okay. Anything else from the committee?
Do you guys advertise? That's probably on the Big Walnut Facebook
It's
page.
gonna come out this week. We just had our follow-up meeting last night to make sure, and then we will be releasing that information in Movies on the Square soon too. You want to talk about that now since I'm here? You care? But
Sure.
come in, right?
Mhm.
I haven't received it yet. No. Maybe not. It's still.
You are welcome to talk about it.
Okay, thanks. It's the first.
We are, side note, the events committee is going to start talking about meeting at a different time. As we have more events come in, we have more event leaders. We understand it's difficult to come into the town hall on a 3:30 in the afternoon. So we are working with our staff and the committee to kind of make that easier. So, but we appreciate you coming in tonight. So
Absolutely. I can pop over. Movies on the Square is going to be the first, I think it's the 4th and 5th of June, that first Friday. The second Friday of the license for the July is the 4th, and then August 1st is the first Friday. And so, they just got those scheduled. We'll be releasing that soon. And you want to talk about anything else?
That's nothing new from the years past, right? Nothing different.
Mhm.
Just three dates this year.
Dates, rain date would be the next date if this, sometimes pop-up storms and stuff like that.
You guys used to have, at one point you had a popcorn machine out there, right?
Yeah, so one of the gals who took it over from the three of us, it's Megan Walkler, and she does Boy Scouts, and so they sell popcorn or cotton candy. They've gotten food trucks in the past to come if people want to come. It's kind of hit and miss if a food truck would be successful or not, so
Mhm.
they're always open to people coming to it, so.
Okay.
Hoping the businesses are open and people can have drinks if they want to bring food themselves.
We've never had any bad things happen, have we? It's always been favorable and
Yeah, go ahead and jinx us.
not good.
Yeah, it's been great so far. I think it's one of those things that just depends on what the mood is and what time and how old kids are, and you can't always predict when dusk is gonna hit. I think people are frustrated with that, but dusk is dusk, and
Mhm.
you can't show a movie when it's light outside. You can't see the movie.
That's showtime, dusk. Okay.
it's usually about 8:30, and then it's usually done around 11. It just depends on how long the movie is. This year it's gonna be Moana 2, Despicable Me, and Wicked, not in that order, but
Good movies.
Mhm.
so we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah, those will work. All right. We don't need anything but one of these applications filled out, Daryl. Is that it or?
Yeah, I mean, we'll follow up on the permit, get it in front of the events committee for sure. So this is kind of a heads up on, this is a city park. Having said that, it probably doesn't pass the second threshold, which is more than 6 hours. Maybe it does. I don't know. It's close. So, yeah, that's what I mean. So that may be the other. Yeah, so that may be, again, the current matrix says, 25, more than 25 people and more than 6 hours. If it doesn't meet both criteria, generally doesn't have to, it can be handled by staff, but it's still good to know. I mean,
Yeah.
Great event, definitely want to find a way to promote it and,
Mhm.
and then
We can always share their Facebook posts, can't we?
Absolutely.
The city.
and I think we've done that in the past. And we've shared the post, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Cindy.
Okay, moving on to other parks business, we have our monthly park update. Ms. Graziano.
We've had a little more activity this past month. Evening Street Park, Amber and I have met with an Eagle Scout, and we're focusing on different projects that he can do over there to kind of help like beautify and enhance that park. He was talking about adding hammock posts and or wooden benches. We're still very early on in the idea phase. So there will be more updates later on. For the Sunbury Memorial Park, we've had 5 burials this past month. For Town Square, this isn't related to Town Square, but I just figured I'd put it here. Our Tree City USA and Growth Award applications for 2024 have been approved by the Arbor Day Foundation, and our recognition items are on their way. So,
Is that something annually that we apply for?
yes.
Although, so we've applied for the Tree City USA historically, but the Growth Award, that's a new. Isn't it?
No, so I was going back through all of our past applications. We applied in 2009 and 2011 for the Growth Awards.
Okay, so it's new again.
What's the growth
It's new
award?
again.
There are different projects, so there's about 5 or 6 different categories, and then there's a bunch of subcategories. The project we did with Old Orchard Park, clearing that out, that counted as one. They can be small or simple. Sunbury Estates was one that counted as well. Working with a certified arborist also counts. You have to get 10 points. And I think that last year we ended up around 23 total.
Oh, great.
So this was an application that you filled out and sent in?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
thank
no,
you.
did Aaron help? Yes. So,
Yes, Aaron Noblet's been working with us as well. And yeah, he's helping with for this year. We're trying to keep track of the projects as the year goes on rather than trying to go through the growth awards and figure out what qualified for what when it's due in a couple of weeks. So
Right.
kind of keeping a more organized
Like a
timeframe on that.
transcript kind of.
Mhm.
Sounds good. Anything else from staff? Anything else from the committee?
All good.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
3 yeas, we are adjourned.
All right.